Ugh, that's one sick SOB. You hear Jeffrey mutter. There were bodies hanging all over the kitchen. Arms, legs, feet, genitalia. On the counter stood a meat grinder, a half-ground arm hanging out of it. You got that right, Jeff. Lieutenant Miller was thinking long and hard about this case. Of all the sick psychos he had heard of, this guy was the worst. There was Ed Gaines, then there was this guy. The man's use of organs borders on into everyday life. The worst of all was bodies of people were thrown around into the criminal's large oven. As for animals, a cat and a few gerbils lay in the microwave. Well, Miller, it's pretty obvious this guy is a cannibal. Just take a look in that wooden cabinet. Inside was a collection of organ-filled jars. Most of them contain a single organ, but one on the top of the shelf was different. That jar contained a fine puree of small organ chunks, all mashed together. Noses, muscles, skin, livers, hearts, eyeballs, other kinds of balls. What topped everything, though, was the little girl lying on the floor. Possibly 7 or 6 years of age, completely naked, and the hands chopped off. It gets worse. A man's testes are sewn into her eye sockets, and her intestines are extruding from her mouth. Holy shit, Officer Miller investigates all over the floor. Aww. Hey guys, just found the Branson guy. Frederick Branson was the psychopath, like serial killer and rapist the police had been searching the house for. When he was found, he was hiding in his meat locker, trying to make a sweater sleeves of somebody's large intestines. He'd already sewn the main shirt part out of skin. The officers swiftly entered the room. "Hello, Kirkpatrick." He spoke to the sergeant in deadpan. "How do you know my name?" "Huh, just guessing." "Take those clothes off, Mr. Branson." The police immediately searched the convict. Any items in his possession would be placed on a nearby metal cart and taken away as evidence. By the end of the search, these items were taken from the Frederick Branson: a .45 caliber pistol, 10 bullets for that pistol, a Bowie knife, a barely used cell phone, an eyeball, a deck of cards, and a female's ovary. He was held in the local precinct for 2 days, then put on trial. The swift verdict was that he shall be deemed insane and stay at an asylum until further notice. Unlike many psychopaths, Frederick was very social, and as shrimp-like he was, even the muscular maniacs feared him. He made a name for himself, being a sexual deviant, and was openly bisexual, even though he preached that it was immoral, just like myself. The asylum workers accused Branson of murder when people began to disappear, but there was no evidence of his involvement. People began to investigate. You should never walk with another official down the dark wooden corridor of the asylum. You hear the psychopaths screeching from the bottom of their throats, their fingernails scratching against metal walls, the death threats and crying. You can barely see the mark of blood, urine, and graffiti on the walls. You then use your key to open the large cell door that separates you and the deranged beyond all means psychopath, Frederick Bryanson. You then creep into the cold, moist room in which he is being held. You closely watch your friend and co-worker Rick search Bryanson's quill-filled cot. Well, where the hell is he? He's obviously not in his bed. Okay. Let's just calm down. Let's just search the room anyways. You stalk around the silent, pest-filled room. There are crude drawings of dead bodies all over the room, most written with simple crayon, or in some cases, blood. What the? You yell out loud. You brush off and jump back up to realize that you tripped and fell on Bryanson's nightstand. After your incident with it, however, the nightstand was moved, and you see a dark tunnel about 6 feet high. Come and look at this, you whisper to Rick. Whoa. You then cautiously crawl down the dirt-filled, water-dripping, rat-crawling tunnel. At the end is an exit. It's what looks like a simple jacket or sport coat. You notice the dim reddish yellow light that shines from the end. You then carefully crawl through to see something unimaginable. Inside the tiny room you have crawled into, you see tons of dead bodies and organs lying around. There are candles being held in the skulls of the victims. The room is decorated with the intestines of the deceased. Then you see Frederick Bryanson sitting in the middle of the room, eating the brains of his victims. It is now clear that the man who is eating brains has something very wrong with his, and something must be done. Hello, Richard Monsworth. How are you? He said in such a creepy voice. That's not my name. I know. It's the name of the guy whose brain I'm eating. I can taste it. I can taste all of his thoughts, and I know what you're thinking. I can tell by the look in your eyes. You've got pretty eyes. I want them. In the end, the lights blow out and Bryanson gets the best of your life and puts your organs to good use, sadly. In the end, Frederick Bryanson was finally convicted of committing all those murders in the asylum, and was forced to give an anterior cingulatomy. Even after that, he still managed to be convicted of tens of more violent crimes. He was then given additional operations and made a husk, which in medical terminology is a person who's breathing, digesting, having blood pumping, and living. That's about it. Even now, it seems that there are still demons hiding in that man.